semantic HTML tag?
Okay, so a semantic HTML tag describe the meaning of the content it contains
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
both the browsers and to the person who is reading the code. So, and the
Okay.
example, I think article tag and includes article tag, footer tag, and header tag, and there is a section tag also. And these tags, which is helps to improve accessibility, and these semantic tags makes the web pages easier to understand also. So
Okay.
this is the yeah, semantic tag.
Okay. So tell me, like, why is using semantic tags important in HTML5?
Okay, so using the semantic tags in HTML5 is important because they help to structure the web page clearly, and
Mm-hmm.
they make it easier for the search engines to understand the content, and which can also improve the SEO ranking. And
Mm-hmm.
they can also assist readers and other associative technologies in page
Mm-hmm.
content, and it will also enhancing the accessibility of the peoples with disabilities also. And yeah, this is
Okay.
all by using semantic important
Okay.
nest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And like, how do semantic tags improve accessibility?
Okay, so semantic tags actually improve accessibility by providing a clear and specific informations about the content of a web page to the
Okay.
technologies like the screen readers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and this make it easier for the individuals with the visual impairments to navigate and in order to understand the structure of a sections of a web page,
Mm-hmm.
and it will also enhance the their web experience. So this is how the
Okay.
semantic text. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So can you please tell me the purpose of doc type declaration is HTML?
Okay. So I think the purpose of the doc type declaration in HTML is that it tells the web browser that what version of the HTML the page is written in, and this
Mm-hmm.
actually help the browser correctly display the page by utilizing the correct rules for the version of HTML. And it's
Okay.
also important to include this at the very top of our HTML document. So in order
Mm-hmm.
to ensure the proper page rendering. So I think this is the purpose of doc type declaration in HTML.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So like, what happen if you omit the doc type declaration?
Okay, so if we omit the doc type declaration, so the web
Mm-hmm.
browsers may render the page in quick modes, and I think in this mode, the browser use the different sets of rule for
Mm-hmm.
layout purpose, and which can also I think lead to inconsistencies and unexpected behavior in how the page looks and functions. So I think this can affect the design also and user experience negatively. So yeah, I think if we omit the doctor declaration, so this will happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How does doc type affect the rendering mode of the browser?
Uh, okay, so I think the doc type tells the browser that what version of HTML the page is written in, and this helps the browser display to page correctly. And I think without doc type, the browser might show the page in a quick way. So this, which means it could look to the different than intended. So by using the doc type, ensure the page looks the same across different browser. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how I think the doc type affects the rendering mode of the browser. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So now moving ahead, can you please explain the CSS box model?
uh, CSS box model. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
CSS box models describes how the space around the HTML element is structured. So I
Mm-hmm.
think each element is treated as a box with the four parts.
Mm-hmm.
So just like the content and padding and border
Mm-hmm.
and margin. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this models helps in arranging and spacing element on a web page. So yeah, this is all I
Okay.
know. CSS. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the components that make up the box model?
Okay, so the component which I said it earlier that there is a content, padding, border, and margin. So
Mm-hmm.
the content is what you see, just like the text, or it can be an image. And when we talk about the
Mm-hmm.
padding, so it is a space between the content and border. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so and the border is actually a visible outline which is around the content and padding. And lastly, we have the margin. So it is a space outside the border, so that actually separate the box from other element. So yeah, this is all I know about the component that make a box model.
Okay, got it. So, how does the box sizing property affect the box model?
Okay, so the box sizing property in CSS, which it's actually determine how the width and the height of element are calculated. So
Mm-hmm.
if we set to the content box, the width and the
Mm-hmm.
height only includes the content, not the padding or border. Okay, so
Okay.
if we set to border box, so the width and the height includes the content, padding, and border also. So I think this
Mm-hmm.
makes the layout design easier and more predictable. So yeah, this will happen if we set the property box sizing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between class and ID selectors in CSS?
Okay, so class and ID selector in CSS. So basically, the
Mm-hmm.
class selectors are used to style any element which
Mm-hmm.
share the same class attributes. So and
Okay.
it will allow us to apply the same styles to multiple items on a web page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and when we talk about the ID selector, so they are unique actually and can be used to style only one specific element. So I
Mm-hmm.
think this make ID selectors ideal for targeting if we are targeting a single part of the page that needs a unique styling. So yeah, I think this is the difference between class and ID selectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then tell me, like, why should you use ID over class?
Okay, so I think we should use an ID when we want to apply the specific style to only one element on a page. So as I said earlier, so as each ID is unique with a document. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
by using a class using a class when we want to style a multiple element in the same way. So I
Mm-hmm.
think IDs are useful for targeting the elements with the JavaScript for creating anchors like links within a page. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the use of ID over a class. If we're targeting a single part of a page, that's needing unique style.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can a CSS ID selector be used more than once on a page?
But CSS, no, we cannot use the CSS.
Why?
Yeah, because the CSS ID selector should not be used more than once because each ID is intended to be unique within the document. So
Mm-hmm.
if by using an ID more than once, so it can
Mm-hmm.
actually cause the conflict. So especially in a
Okay.
JavaScript where IDs are sometimes used to select element. So instead, we can use the class selectors for styling multiple elements. So if we
Okay.
need
Okay.
to, yeah.
Okay. 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 Moving ahead. So, what is a closer in JavaScript?
Okay, so closures in JavaScript is a feature where the functions remembers and accessible variables from outer functions, so
Mm-hmm.
which is actually already finishing running. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this happen even after the outer functions is completed. So and
Mm-hmm.
it will also allow the inner functions to still use those variables. So yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
the main thing. So closures are useful actually for maintaining the privacy and state in code. So this is the most important concept of JavaScript. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, how are closures useful in functional programming?
Closure use in okay, so closures in functional programming are useful because they actually let us to save a functions along with its surrounding environment. So I think this
Okay.
means that the functions can remember and can access variable from where it was
Mm-hmm.
originally created, so even if it's
Okay.
called later in a different place. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this helps in managing data privacies and creating
Mm-hmm.
functions that are customized and yet reuse with code efficiently. So yeah, this is how actually closures useful in functional program.
Okay. Okay. So, can you please explain the concept of hoisting in JavaScript?
Okay, so concept of hoisting in JavaScript. So hoisting in JavaScript is a behavior where the variables and the functions declarations are moved to the top
Mhm.
of their containing scope. So during the
Okay.
compilation phase.
Okay.
Okay, so I think this mean we can actually use the variables and the functions before they are declared in the code. So
Mhm.
and only the declarations are hoisted, not the initialization. So this can help in organizing code by calling the functions before they appear in
Mhm.
the script. So yeah, this is the I think concept of hoisting in JavaScript.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what types of declarations are hoisted?
Okay, so mainly there are two types of declarations are hoisted. So first thing is
Mhm.
variable declarations, and the second thing
Okay.
is function declaration. So this means
Mhm.
that when we declare a functions or a variable with a var keyword
Mhm.
anywhere in our
Mhm.
code, so JavaScript treats like if we declare it top of our current scope. So I think
Mhm.
this allow us to use the functions and the var variables before we actually write the declaration in our code. So yeah,
Mhm.
mainly they are the two types, so functions and
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, like, how can hoisting affect the behavior of our code?
Okay, so hoisting can affect our code actually by allowing us to use the functions and the variables before they are
Mhm.
explicitly declared in a script. So this
Okay.
can actually lead to unexpected results. So
Mhm.
especially with the variables. So let's take an example. So if we try to use a variable declared with
Mhm.
var before its actual declaration, so it will exist but with a value of undefined. So
Mhm.
this might cause bugs. We expect it to hold it some other value. So yeah, this is how the hoisting can affect the behavior of the code.
Okay. So, can you please describe how this keyword works in JavaScript?
Okay, so actually these keywords identify the objects to which a functions belongs. So its
Mhm.
value can be changed based on the function's context. So
Mhm.
inside the objects method, so these keywords refer to the objects itself. So in
Okay.
functions, in standalone functions or outside any objected, so these keywords typically point out to the global context, global object.
Okay.
So just like the windows in browsers or globals
Mhm.
in Node.js. So and with arrow functions, so these keywords retain the context from where the function is defined. So yeah, this is how the this keywords works in JavaScript.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how does this behave in a regular function?
Okay, so actually this keywords behave in regular functions. So this keywords usually points to the global object, as I said earlier, like
Mhm.
Windows in browsers or globals in
Mhm.
Node.js. So if the function is not a part of our object, so but if the function is used in objects method, so this refer to the object itself. So this
Mhm.
is how the this keywords behave in a regular function.
So, how is this keyword context different in an arrow function?
Okay, so actually the in arrow functions in JavaScript, so this keywords is handled differently than the regular functions. So
Okay.
it sorry. So actually it inherits this keywords from the surrounding code where the arrow function is defined and not where it
Mhm.
is called. So this
Mhm.
keywords means that this insights in arrow functions always refer to this keyword value of the enclosing context. So and it also making it more predictable, especially in the scenarios where involving the callbacks and events. So yeah, this is how this keyword context differ from arrow functions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Moving ahead. So, what are JavaScript promises?
Okay, so JavaScript promises are actually the tools for managing asynchronous operations. So
Mhm.
basically, they represents a future value that actually
Mhm.
might eventually, but complete it successfully or
Mhm.
fail. So I think so, and
Mm,
promises helps organize asynchronous code more cleanly, and it will also
mm,
avoiding the complexity of nested callbacks and making the flow
mm,
of operation easier to follow and to manage. So yeah, this is
mm. Okay,
are the
okay, okay. So
promise.
how do you create a promise?
Okay, so in order to create a promise in JavaScript, so we can use the promise constructor and provide a functions that takes two arguments, the resolves
Mm,
and reject. So actually, these arguments are functions which is used to determine the outcome of the promise. So
mhm,
if the asynchronous operations is successful, so we can
mhm,
call the resolve method and with the resulting
mhm.
value. So and if it's fail, so we can call the reject with the error. So this is how we can create a promises.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you please tell me like what's the purpose of dot then method?
Okay, so dot then method in JavaScript is used with promises. So in order to
Mm,
handle what happens after they settle. So
mm,
it actually takes two functions. So one for when the promises is fulfilled and receiving the
mm,
results, and option one, and
mm.
option one for when it's rejected and handling the
Okay.
error. So this
Mm,
methods organize the sequences of asynchronous tasks effectively. So I think this is the purpose of dot then method in JavaScript.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Can you please explain event bubbling and capturing in JavaScript?
Okay. So yeah, actually I can explain. So basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
event bubbling and capturing are the methods of how
Mm,
events travel through the DOM in JavaScript, which is the document object
mhm.
model. And the bubbling means that events start at the target elements and bubble up to the root. And
Okay,
capturing is capturing. I think it's opposite to the event bubbling. So it basically start at the root and goes down to the target. So these mechanism help us to control event handling at a various level. So either from the insides or outside. So this is I think how event bubbling and capturing in JavaScript.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the default behavior of event propagation?
Sorry.
What's the default behavior of event propagation?
Okay. So the default behavior of event propagation in JavaScript is event bubbling. So
Okay,
this means that when an event occurs, so it start the
mhm,
target element and then move up toward the parent element in the DOM tree.
okay,
So and it will also
okay,
trigger the handler as it goes. So until it's reach the root. So I think this is the behavior
okay.
of event propagation.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you stop event propagation?
Okay, so in order to stop the event propagation, so we can use the methods like stop propagation method on the event
Mm,
object within the event handler. So
mm,
these methods actually prevent the event from continuing to propagate throughout the DOM,
mhm,
and it will stopping both the bubbling and capturing process. And it's useful when we don't want to event to trigger handler on a parent element. So and after
mm,
being handled by the specific element. So this is how actually we can stop the event propagation.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'll give you some code snippets. Okay.
Okay.
And you need to tell me the output of the
Okay.
provided code snippet. Okay.
Fine.
So
Yeah.
can you
Fine.
please share your screen and I'll paste in the chat box and you need to copy
Okay.
those code snippets in your any editor and then just verbally tell me
Okay.
like what would be the output. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
So I'm just going to do one by one. So first I'm going to paste
Yeah.
uh,
So I
the
need to share my
first
screen.
snippet. Yes, yes, correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine.
One second. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so I pasted in a chat box. Please copy and paste in your editor. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think so. I need to give the output.
Yeah, first give the output, then explain it. Why the
Okay.
output is
So I think the output of this code is uh, 10 actually. So
okay. Can
yeah.
you explain?
Okay. So first, I think now in this line, one where x is equal to 10. So here the x is declared on a global scope.
Mm-hmm.
And after
Mm-hmm.
I think this block in curly braces, so it's a block. So
Mm-hmm.
actually in this line,
Okay.
so we declare a new variable, declare a new variable x is declared 2. Okay,
Okay.
and assign the value of 2, but actually this variable only exists within the block. So in this block,
Mm.
this variable exists on this block. So it's because let
Okay.
is a
Okay.
block scope.
Yeah,
So
that's
once,
why it will print
yeah, yeah,
10.
and
Okay.
outside the block,
Now just paste. Okay, okay. Paste it the second step it.
yeah,
Please paste it here and answer.
okay, okay. So let's say it's 2. So I think the results is syntax error because the first
Why?
yeah, because the first we have declared the let z is equals to 1, and after in this scope you actually again declare the z scope, which is I think invalid. So inside this block there is a time
Okay.
to declare, yeah, with where,
Mm.
and I think the JavaScript won't
Okay.
allow this for redeclare the variable. Was first is declare with let and const. So let and const a variable in the same on higher scope. So we cannot actually declare the another value when it's
Mm.
declared with let or const. So here we declare that with let. So we cannot declare with z scope.
Okay, okay. And what if there is a let in line number 10, let z is equal to 2?
Sorry, let z is equals to 2.
Like, yeah, in the line number 10. Can you place let instead of what? Let.
Yeah, this,
Now compilation error removed.
yeah,
Yeah, it means like now we can replace
yeah,
values by using let.
yeah,
But if we declare var and we try to replace it, it won't replace. Okay.
yeah. The JavaScript won't allow this.
Mm. Yeah, okay. So it's done from my end.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you.